This is Tyler Lewis here with Phenon Hoops. We have one of my favorite coaches, special guest with us today, Jeff McInnis. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
No doubt. Happy to be here.
Sounds good. Coach Jeff, he's the head coach at Combine, also with Team Charlotte, year in, year out. He has one of the best high school teams and AAU teams on the circuit in the country. And I think the one thing that makes you so special is getting your guys to play with the passion that you coach with and having all the guys buy in. And not only are you such a really good coach, but you are a spectacular player as well. Being a McDonald's All-American, playing in North Carolina, All-ACC player, playing in NBA. So when did you first fall in love with the game, Coach?
I say as a kid, I like basketball and football, but I think basketball was the thing that I really liked a lot. We played it a lot. A lot of guys from my neighborhood growing up at West Charlotte Center. It just be a lot of guys playing basketball. So there was so many dudes you had to fight to compete and stay on the court. So if you lose a game, you're probably not going to play again. So I think that's probably where my competitive spirit and nature come from, just growing up in West Charlotte Center playing.
So West Charlotte's very special to you.
That's right.
I love it. So who is that person or role model that kind of just helped you become the person that you are today?
I would say in basketball, it had to be I would say Clarence Johnson, Ed Sockwell, and Don Curitan. Those are three people that kind of told me I could be special in basketball. Don Curitan was the guy who ran West Charlotte Center, so I grew up playing under him, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. And then I kind of met Clarence Johnson, who ran the Sonics AAU program, and Ed Sockwell, that's Luke May's grandfather. He ran the whole Sonics, so he's the man behind the scenes. So I met those three guys, and those three guys were probably instrumental in changing my life for basketball. And then it went on. I went to Oak Hill, and so on and so on. So the story just lines up, man. But those three guys, I would say Don Curitan, Clarence Johnson, and Ed Sockwell.
That's awesome. I mean, I know those three people definitely played a major impact in your life. So growing up in West Charlotte, was North Carolina always a dream school for you?
Not really a dream school. I liked NC State. Jimmy Valvano was probably my favorite coach. Just his energy, the way he coached. He was all over the court, all over the place. His players played free. I mean, I like Carolina, but I think growing up, everybody loved them, and they won so much. So I kind of like different. So I kind of grew up liking NC State a little bit.
So when you got to North Carolina, obviously 3 years there, outstanding career. What is like that one moment in your career at North Carolina where you're like, man, I'm going to be an NBA player?
I just kept working. I knew it could be a reality when I saw my friends Rasheed Wallace and Stackhouse get drafted. So I knew it could be a reality. So I saw how much work they put in, and I just tried to follow the same blueprint and just work and work and work. I knew I could play, but just work on my game, work on my shot, and just do the things I could do. So, and just put it in God's hands, and I knew I could play in the NBA.
I love it. Putting in God's hands and your hard work. That's two things that play a major role in becoming successful. Being the player you were, how does that affect you becoming the coach that you are today?
Sometimes it plays a role in it. Sometimes I have to step back, and I'm being too hard on them sometimes because it might be something that I could do as a player, and I can't expect those kids to do it. But I just push them hard, and I push them how I wanted to be pushed as a player to get the most out of them, let them maximize their talents. And I don't think sometimes they realize it now, but when they get a little older, they'll see, like what Coach Jeff was telling me was for the best. But right now, they probably can't see it sometimes. But I mean, that's just kind of how it is with me. I just do it like that.
So when you're coaching, you're in mid-practice, do you ever get like that edge to just go out there and play, to start playing with the guys? Do you still get out there, show them who's boss a little bit?
I played a couple of times with the guys. Rob was talking too much. Dillingham was talking too much. So I had to go out there and show him that I could still do it a little bit. He tough though, but I kind of got some buckets on him and made it hard for him to score a couple of times. But he's the real deal.
Rob is the real deal, but I love it, especially coming from someone like you who can just automatically just turn it back on and get out there on the court and show one of the best players in the country, hey, you still got it. So
right.
that's awesome. So I want to get in to talk about I mean, I've seen you work out with like Josh Hall and Tyshawn Alexander this summer with helping their draft process. How was your draft process when you were coming out of North Carolina?
Very different. Yeah, we just kind of been here in Charlotte and working out. They flew to Arizona, had some workouts, but our base has kind of been here. It was so much different for me. I was on a plane every day going to work out for a different team. So I think I worked out for like 16 teams in 13 days. So my process was totally different. It was exhausting. You had to show up every day and bring your best effort. So I remember one stretch where I went to LA, worked out for the Lakers. I flew to Portland, worked out for Portland. Next day Seattle, back to Sacramento. So Dallas, it just was crazy. So it was like day after day. So you had to get yourself going every day. But now these guys like just have a pro day where all the teams watch them and they don't have to travel. So it's a lot different.
So having like those 13 workouts, once draft night got there, how was that draft day? Like, was it a super long day, or were you ready for it? Or
I had another workout on my draft day. So the Hornets called me that morning and like, could you come work out for us? And I was like, again? Like, but you're never going to say no. So I went and worked out for Charlotte the morning of the draft. And to me, I thought they was going to draft me because I had probably my best shooting workout that I've had probably to this day still. Like, I mean, I made so many shots. I've never made that many shots. And they took Tony Delk, a two guard. So I was really disappointed because they were saying they needed a point guard. But Tony, my guy, so I was happy for him. But, I thought they was going to take me after my workout in Charlotte that day. So I was shocked, but I ended up playing for Charlotte in my career. So it all worked out.
no, that's awesome. So I know you spoke about playing in Charlotte at the end of your career. Can you talk about playing like in the NBA in your whole career, your whole professional career a little bit of just how special it was?
Yeah, it was special. It was a business though. I think playing in college was fun. The NBA was fun, but it was a business. Like I said, I played for a lot of teams, so I knew the business side of it. And at some point, you got to learn what kind of business you're in. So it became less fun and more about business decisions. So I just knew just to be on a team. I didn't care what team I was on, where I was at. I just knew the ultimate goal was to get all you can money-wise out this league, because at any day they can cut you and you could be gone. So I just understood the business of doing what I had to do to stay on those rosters and keep coming through players' entrance, like Coach Smith said.
I love it. I love it. So now you're in your second year at Combine. What are your goals for this upcoming year?
My goals every year is to develop the kids, develop talent, and the team goals to follow. If we set our team goals, what we want to do, that's to win the Hoop State Championship at the end of the year, win all the tournaments we go to, just team goals, but ultimately develop our players as a coaching staff, keep developing these guys as on the court, off the court, as young men. And I think the success of basketball will follow if we do those things. So it's been successful for the last year, and we just keep plugging with our motto, and that's just getting our players good, keep grinding them, work them hard, and, the fruits of our labor will come at the end.
Well, I know you do a great job, especially with the kids, growing them not only on the court, but off the court. I feel like every person that plays for you always says, man, like they love you as a person and as a coach. So that speaks volume of who you are. You have a lot of great players that you have either brought into Combine. What are some of the players you're really looking forward to this upcoming year? And it can be all of them.
Yeah, I like all of them, but Patrick Wessler, he's the main guy that I like all my guys and we focus on a lot of them, but he's a big special kid, and I think getting him to realize how special he is a challenge for us and our coaching staff. Even his dad said to me all the time, like, that's why I brought him to you, but he has to understand how good he is and who he can be. But that's the challenge in being a coach. So we pushing him every day and trying to get him to where he'll be a special kid. And I think his talent is there. He just has to understand it. But him, Chris Robinson is another guy. He's a shooter, but he has more stuff. And trying to push him to bring it all out is a challenge. Rob, getting him to pass the ball like yesterday, if you watch the game, he's a great passer. Yeah. He had 6 assists at the first start of the game, and then he went for 10 straight. So I tell him, look, man, you got to pass the ball. You could be a great player by passing. Jalen Curry, I'm interested in working with him. He's a great player. Reminds me a lot of Kenny Anderson if he slows down. I just tell him all the time, you got to play the game in 2 speeds. He's so quick and he's such a blur. He wants to play fast all the time. And once we get him playing at 2 or 3 speeds, then I think sky's the limit for him. But like I said, all of our kids, I just named a few, but all of our kids, Antonio Hanlon from Baltimore, I can't wait to get him back. He's injured. But so we have a lot of talent. We just got to mesh it all as one team. And I'm excited for these guys. And I think they're excited too. We played good this weekend. We got to get our defense right. We still lacking on the defensive end. We can score, but our defense is way behind.
Yeah, and when you have so much talent on your team like you have this year, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face being their coach?
Playing time, right?
Playing
That's probably
time.
it. Yeah, but I always was told, the players control playing time, not the coaches. So if your production is good, then you play. But so we grade them out. We watch film. We do it like colleges. We know plus and minuses, who's helping the team, who's not. So I think we're not just a regular high school team. We take this a little step further so these kids can understand when you go to college, this is important. Your plus and minuses are important. Coaches do look at that. What did you bring to the game today instead of 20 points? So it's real, and we treat it that way here. So I think our players get better. And they go to college and they have a chance to play because they understand the importance of a possession or getting a stop.
I feel like every player that goes to college from either your AAU team, your high school team, I feel like they're ready, like from day one, just from being coached by you, by like your toughness. And that sort of gets me into like my next question with you is like, how do you describe like your coaching style in a way?
I think I'm in your face, challenging you all the time, especially in practice. Pushing you for your best to come out. That's kind of what it is. I think people who understand me know that. Like, they just know who I am as a coach and a player, and I'm always going to push my kids. I'm gonna push my kids to the limit to get the best out of them. And I tell like some kids, turn the volume down, hear the message. You know what I'm saying? When I'm out there, I'm animated. I'm a rah guy. So just just listen to the message and turn it down. But some guys need that. Like, we got some guys that want to be pushed. But just for me, I'm always teaching. Like, somebody tweeted something yesterday about just how I coach and how I was teaching my kids. And I always teach the bench when the people on the court do something. Then when the people on the court come out, I teach them. But they can't hear you if you're yelling on the court to them. So you teach the bench. And hopefully they don't make the mistake when they go back in. So it's just a lot of just teaching, and I do a lot of teaching, but some people who don't know me think, oh, he's just yelling all the time. He's screaming and cussing the boys out, but they know. My guys know what I'm about. My parents know what I'm about. And, hopefully college coaches know what I'm about so they can get these kids. They get these kids and they're successful with them. So the pedigree has worked so far, and we're just going to keep grinding.
Now, I think like a quote that kind of stands out to me right there is just like, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And I feel like you care so much about these kids, you're able to coach them any way you want, because that's this type of person you are. You care about how many players on your team, like you love them the same. And
Right.
you're able to coach them with that same mentality, hard nose, because they know you want what's best for their interests.
That's right.
And so in building such a successful program, what would you describe as like y'all's team's motto, mission statement, or whatever that just makes y'all's teams click?
Defense. I just think defense, I just think defense travels. We got a t-shirt, hashtag defense travels. So your shot might be off, the environment might be crazy, but you can always defend. And it don't matter. You can always defend, so you got a chance to win any game if you defend. And that's been our motto since we started Team Charlotte. And that's been my motto everywhere I go. I just think defense wins, and it has a chance to win every time. And if you're making shots, then how can you lose if you defend? So for me, it's just our motto. We're just going to try to defend, try to figure out ways to rattle offense. And I think that's just the way I do it. I'm going to pressure you all the way up the court. I'm going to just play 94 defense. We're going to press. We're going to do that. That's just, to me, that's the way I like to coach. And it makes the game fun to our team and our guys. So it might not be good for everybody. And I hear college coaches say, we can't evaluate. He shuffle guys in and out. We can't really evaluate. Well, if you're a good coach, you can evaluate a kid. So for me, they say all this stuff about us. They say this, they say that, but our kids do pretty good wherever they go. So it's
No,
cool.
I agree. And normally whenever they're coached by you in a combine uniform or a Team Charlotte uniform, I feel like they look their best because
Right.
you're able to put them in situations where they're going to succeed, and you put them playing to their strength. Why? What's your why? Why do you coach?
I coach because I love the game. I want to get back. I want to help kids. I want to help guys achieve their goals. I was telling my boy the other day, he kind of asked me that. We spent a lot of time doing this, man. I was like, yeah, but I didn't have nobody like me. If I had somebody like me, maybe I did 12, 13 years in the league. Maybe I could have done 20 years in the league. So for me, is if I could touch one or two or three or four kids, then I've done my job. And I know I've touched some now. So to me, to just keep educating these kids and giving them knowledge on basketball life. And right now, it's my calling to do it. So I feel that's my why. God put me here to pour back into these kids. And right now, that's what I'm going to do.
So coaching both Team Charlotte and Combine, how is coaching high school and coaching AAU different, and how is it the same?
It's the same, you coaching, but I think I got to be once I put on a suit, I'm a little more relaxed. So that's the biggest difference. High school basketball, I try not to get as mad and scream because you get hot quicker. You got on suits and you got to kind of be cool and calm. But I still get into them in the locker room. We get outside, but it's just a different mentality you got to take. And, so many people watching you. But then AAU the gyms are different. They loud, they wild. You got games going on the side. So you kind of got to adjust to that environment. Like, you can't be calm, cool, collect. You kind of got to be, and to get your guys to play. It's so many games in AAU. You play at 8 o'clock, you play at 12 o'clock, and you play at 5 o'clock. So you got to get your guys to play. And it's not easy to play 3 games in one day. You've been an AAU player, T-Lou, so it's hard. So you have to have motivation. But one thing about me, every practice, I have the same energy. If it's 8 o'clock in the morning, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I have the same energy. So I just tell my kids, if I can, why can't you? It's just, I don't want to be here either, but we're here and let's just make the best of our time. So my big motto is don't lose a day. Like, don't lose a day. Like, let's win every day. If you win every day, you get better and you'll be successful. But if you lose days, then you tweaking. So I just tell my kids, never, let's not lose a day when we out here working. So we've been pretty good. We lost 2 days last week, so we behind. So we got to get on the ball this week.
Make up for it this week.
That's right.
Can't lose any more days, Coach.
Uh,
Last year, you had a chance to play your alma mater, Oak Hill, and I'm pretty sure it was at a Phenom event as well. How was that feeling playing against Oak Hill and winning the game?
That was like a dream come true. Coach Smith, you played for him too. Just to be playing against him and, seeing that red and gold come out there, it was real surreal, man. It was just different. And for my first game in Charlotte, it was packed out. So it was crazy. But, the thing about it was I wasn't supposed to play Coach Smith. Everybody else was scared to play him. So, like, I just ended up getting the game because people didn't want to play him. So for me, that was different. But I played them. My guys competed, which I knew they would. We ended up winning the game, which was good. And it was great. Then we went to Oak Hill and they smacked us by 20. So it was good for a minute. But like I said, it was good for our kids. I was happy for the kids because the whole month before the game, I kept telling them, you can win this game. You can win this game. If you prepare to win it, think you can win it. Let's know we're going to win it. Like, we just took that whole month like we was going to win the game. And we won the game. Like, and I think I told them guys, it was a little snippet of, we about to make history. Just get 2 stops. And we got the stops. We made it 3 and we won the game. So everything we said, and I think from that point on, my kids believed in me a little differently because everything I said that whole month happened. And I told them we can win the game. It's going to be hard, but we did it. So I think that was a big, big point in my coaching career for my guys that trust
me. And playing for a coach like Coach Smith at Oak Hill, we both did it. We're both guards, and he just lets you play your game. Like, he is one of my favorite coaches. I'm sure one of yours as well. How did he make an impact on your life as well? Playing.
Oh, definitely a big, big, big impact. I went to Oak Hill from West Charlotte. I thought I knew everything. living in those mountains. He kind of took it like a fathership role for me early. He knew like my mom was a single parent, so he kind of was different with me than he was a lot of people. And Miss Smith and all. I just gravitated to their family, and he made me want to change. He made me read my Bible. He made me do stuff that normally I probably wouldn't do, watching little crazy movies at his house and stuff. So, but at the end of the day, he made me a better man and a better person. He was just texting me the other day about some stuff, but I mean, I learned so much from Coach. He showed me a lot of stuff, man. He took me a lot of places with, this basketball took me a lot of places. I went to Hawaii, I went to Alaska with Coach Smith. So I would have never done those things coming from West Charlotte. So for me, he showed me a lot of stuff that made me want to work harder to get better and do better things for my life.
For sure. And also, whenever you went to college, you played for another Hall of Fame Coach Smith. How was that?
Oh, man. Dino, that's the greatest. To me, he's the greatest coach ever. That was life-changing. Just being around so many great coaches, man. He taught me accountability, being on time, doing stuff the right way. He taught me so much. He was another father figure in my life who taught me so much. I can go on and on and on about Coach Smith. But, I mean, you saw what he did. He gave everybody $200 on his deathbed, all the varsity players. He was dying and he was still worrying about us. So that right there shows you who he is and who he always been. Just that kind of guy, and always had his players back from day one.
That's awesome. That's a true coach right there, and one of the best to ever do it. Coach Jeff, I appreciate you coming on here. Never change. I love your passion. I actually have one more question for you, since
All right.
I want to know how many games that you have been ejected from because your energy and passion. I love it, but it can rub people and refs the wrong way. So I just have to ask that.
Honestly, I haven't been ejected out of a game probably. I can't think of the last time. Probably I ain't have a lot of texts this summer or nothing. I've been good. And for combine last year, no ejections. I probably had 3 texts the whole year, if that. But I don't know. I've been doing good, Tilo.
I love it.
I've been doing good, man. I've been changing. My players say I'm getting soft. All my old players call and be like, "This your practice? Like you soft now." So maybe I'm getting soft, but it's good. It's helping. No texts and everything's doing good. But I appreciate you, Tilo.
No problem, Coach. I appreciate you, and thanks for coming on here.
All right, no problem, bro. All right.
Appreciate you.
All right.